my shoulder and my back's hurting me, so I didn't do much at all. All I did was these 5 crunches, and that's it. I plan to actually rest today because of my back and my shoulder hurting me, but I've done something. I've done the 5 crunches. I'm going to take it easy for the next couple of days because of my back and my shoulder. So yeah, if I do train, I'll write it down in the description of the days. And if I don't, I just won't. I'll explain that. Now I'm going to move on to talking about the main thing that I wanted to address in this video, which is the idea of indifference. So I've been reading this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and what I've set myself to do is to answer all of the self-analysis questions, which start at around pages 359 to 360. I haven't completely finished all of them yet, but I am going through them. And one of the questions that it asks as a part of the self-analysis is to explain whether you have any of the 6 ghosts of fear, Napoleon calls it. One of them being the fear of poverty, and one of the signs of poverty, Napoleon states, is indifference. It has a whole load of symptoms within indifference, but I've actually come up with one of my own, and that is this. I've noticed that usually when I'm just in daily life, I usually just have an indifferent face. Sometimes I do smile, sometimes I do frown, but that's very rare. Especially when it comes to the sorts of things that I set myself to do each day. I don't really experience much of a smile from it. Not because I dislike what I do, but it's just, yeah, I've noticed that I don't smile, nor do I really frown. You could say in a sense that this makes my life more poor than it could be, because I'm not as emotionally invested into what I do each day as much as I could be. For example, I haven't ever recently thought or caught myself thinking, yes, today I've got this and this to do and it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm going to own this day. This day is going to be the shit. I haven't really thought that. To me, it's just been, well, it's another day sort of mindset. But I wouldn't think it using those words. I just get up, really. I just wake up, get up, and very basically do the same sort of things. Making these videos and just other things that I'm doing in my life, really. So I've just caught myself doing this and living my life this way, but I don't know how long I've been doing this for. It could be a few months, could be a few years. I'm not really sure. But I am sure that I'm heading in the right direction. The right direction being in a way that I want to head in. Because I'm using this and the sorts of foods I eat to take care of my health. So I really believe I'm heading in the right direction, but I certainly show a lot of indifference in my daily life to what I do. And I believe this is the case because I notice myself that I don't often catch myself smiling or frowning at what I do. It's just basically straight face nearly all of the time. Yesterday I was doing some drawing and the drawings brought a smile to my face, especially when looking back at them, because I finally started using colour in my drawings. Speaking of, I've just got back into drawing. I did that in the past as a hobby. I dated my drawings and I got my first page on the 11th of May last year. So I started at around that time again. I'd say around April really. But I stopped for whatever reason. I think the reason why I stopped is because I was writing down a whole load of thoughts that I had on my mind at the time throughout the rest of the year through from that point, meaning from maybe around June to December last year. When it comes to the drawings I made yesterday, I certainly show the opposite of indifference. I show passion. And I believe this is the case because I think of how can I one up this? How can I take the drawings that I've made to the next level? Going back to the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill book, this is a book that I'd absolutely recommend to anyone on this journey of self-improvement, of wanting to drastically change their life in a way that they want. I'd absolutely recommend it, and I'd recommend them to do what I've been doing, which is answer the self-analysis questions. Reason being, this will allow you to know yourself better than you ever have done before, especially if you haven't gone into deep thought about yourself, knowing you, being fluent in you and your life and the way you want your life to head in. That sort of thing. Going back to the topic of indifference now. So I think one of the main reasons as to why I could show or have been showing indifference for in my daily life for however long is because I may not be, actually no, I won't say may not be, I haven't been challenging my mind as much as I could have been doing, or as much as I'd want to. So yesterday I was saying, or as the title says, sorry, I'm on my way out of mental dependence, and in that video I address the YouTube addiction that I created, that I've created over the span of less than a decade. And that could be one of the main reasons as to why I've been showing indifference in my daily life for however long, because I overstimulate my mind watching that sort of content or watching YouTube content, sorry. And when it comes to watching YouTube content or the sort of videos I'd watch, they didn't challenge the mind. All I would have to do is stare at the screen, let it play, and then press the next video. But in reality, I didn't even have to do that. I could just let autoplay play for me. And sometimes YouTube, they'll basically watch the videos for you. What I mean is, for example, say you're on your phone and you're on YouTube, but you've paused the video that you're watching at the moment, and you go to the feed, you go to your recommended, and you just leave it there. And then when you leave it there, after a while, it will play the video. It will play one of the videos that are in the recommended. So I wouldn't even have to watch videos. I wouldn't even have to tap on videos if I didn't want to. So yeah, I'm repeating myself, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think one of the main reasons as to why I've been showing indifference in my life is because I have been neglecting my mind of challenge. Yeah, I'd say that. It's because I've been neglecting my mind of challenge, of actually giving it something difficult enough for it to grow. And that actually leads me on to my next topic, chess. So I have learned how to play chess in the past, but I didn't go I didn't get far. I didn't go to intermediate sort of level. I just stayed beginner, learning different sorts of moves. For example, how to move each part of each piece on the chessboard, and learn certain things that you could do, certain moves, such as forking, when you use one of your pieces on the board to uh, attack two of the enemy pieces at the same time, which you could do with a knight, for example, or you could do with a queen or a bishop, so on and so forth. So yeah, I've I genuinely say I've experienced indifference in my life due to neglecting it of challenge. I personally don't plan to use chess as a way to wind down, because it's challenging. It challenges the mind. You have to think of the next steps, and how things can play out. For example, if you do one move, how can the opponent react? How would you think the opponent could react? So it really makes you really have to use your head when you learn how to play chess, and when you're just playing. For example, if you play online, you really have to use your head as to how you personally think an opponent can respond to your move, and in reverse, how you have to respond because your opponent has made X or Y move. And I think doing this will give my mind some challenge, and and that sort of challenge will allow me to make much more much more appropriate and better decisions in my life overall, that overall long term, because that sort of mindset will trickle down. That's my hypothesis, and I believe in it. I think that will actually be able to come true, provided I just put the time in to do chess and actually invest myself much more into what I do than I have been. I think that's all I have to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. Before I go though, I'd actually say, for me personally, even creating this content and this video in particular has been an eye-opener, because I've never thought of it in the way of I've experienced indifference due to neglecting my mind of challenge. This is something that I've just thought of in real time. You've been hearing me think of this as I just talk aloud. But yeah, it'd be absolutely amazing if you could learn something from what I've said. But if you can't, you can't. Can't really force it. But it would be nice if it's not only me just learning from finding value in the sort of content that I create. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.